Check. Everybody hear me?
It's working.
Hey, so welcome. Well, welcome. Thank you all for coming to Jamming the Plane number 6. There we go. I can talk, I promise.
Let's jam to 6.
This is the first one, I promise, okay? Calm down. Anyway, we're going to get started with a staple act around here. This guy's been here every year. He is awesome, the funniest guy around. Talk louder is what I'm getting. I'm just going to shout at you guys. Anyway, Sean has been coming for 6 years. He's funny. He's going to make you laugh. I don't need to talk him up. He's going to do his thing. Thanks for coming, Sean. Woo!
Jack.
All right, thank you very much. Give it up one more time for Fathead. Thank you for hosting us. Jamming the Plane, season 6. Wonderful time. Hope everybody's keeping safe from the heat. Keep being properly hydrated, right? That's important. Staying out of the wind. Nobody's got Hansa virus, right?
Only Hans. Not that I'm
Right? They tried to drop that on us, right? That was a funny little scenario. And, like, everybody collectively just called. They're like, nah, we're not doing that again. Sorry. Like, oh, it's too late. The guys are already off the ship. We can't blow it up anymore. And everyone's like, yeah, we just don't care. Well, you can come up with your Chilean strain or whatever. Pretty sure I've been around rats my whole life and it's never been an issue. So it's like, yeah, well, I'm sensing a new rat. They tried to go around the moon again too, right? That was the Artemis 2. That was a fun little situation. Right? Yeah, that blew my mind. That was a crazy one. They're like, did anybody else notice, like, when Trump gave that ultimatum that he was gonna, like, bomb Iran that week was the same day that the Artemis 2 was supposed to return? And I was like, did they just launch a people bomb? Because I know they didn't go to space. And like, wouldn't that, does anybody else, like, think, like, if you were to go on, like, say, a 2-week trip away, and you get back, like, the first thing you notice is the smell, right? That's what I would ask the astronauts. Like, what does Earth smell like when you get back? Like cat piss and coffee grounds, I'm thinking. A lot of seawater. Like, you get back and like, wow, that's what Earth smelled like the whole time. It's like, you didn't go nowhere, man. The other thing, oh man, the thing about it, like, okay, the vomit comet, right? We're all familiar with that, right? The parabolic flights that they use to simulate free fall. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it's known as the vomit comet, colloquially, because, like, one of the things that happens to your inner ear fluid when you're in, like, free fall constantly like that is you get, like, very nauseous constantly. And I looked into this and it really blew my mind because, like, supposedly, in order to explain this phenomenon happening in space, they claim there's something called space sickness. Has anybody ever heard of that? Yeah, allegedly when an astronaut goes to space, every time, and this isn't just the first time, they're just violently ill for about 3 days. And I've never once seen any footage of this in space. Have you guys? Because I want that ISS footage.
All in Apollo 13.
Yeah, right. I want to see what zero gravity 3-day vomit looks like on the inside of a space capsule, You figure they would have confronted this at some point. Yeah, exactly. You're just like dodging it. It's like, well, we use bags, but it has nowhere to go. Of course, yeah, Don Pettit would be there saying, like, well, he just bombed this directly into the toilet to drink it as coffee the next day. It's a good plan. He's good. Yeah, they do a lot of weird stuff with it. Another thing is, anybody notice how they're putting, like, protein on everything these days? That's protein.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know if it's the same conclusion you guys have. It's people, right? They're just putting people in things. Yeah, they can't call it Soylent Green, that's too obvious. So they're just like, hey, high protein? Can we call it that? We've been spraying people on Skittles for years and nobody's called us on it, so I feel like we can just put it in a granola bar,
Is that what they mean by taste the rainbow?
Exactly, tasting the rainbow. A little spray in my mind in a similar way, because, like, they're feeding them all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm like, why don't they ever, like, make it of flavors of things I know my pet eats? Right, like songbirds and crickets would be a good cat food, I think, That's one I've never seen on the shelf. I'm like, no, you have salmon and tuna. A tuna is as big as a cow in the wild. I don't think cats get to eat those on their own. I don't think cats get to eat those even as a team, honestly. Like, they need humans to catch those and serve them to them. It's like, no, that's That's even a salmon. I feel like in open water, a salmon gets to eat my cat. That's how that happens. Not the other way around. No, but I'm blown away that mouse is not a flavor of cat food available for us to buy, is it?
Yeah.
Why is that not a thing?
No.
You'll get a few songbirds in there, but that's a bonus, right? Because you'd have to have the no heads bags, because the cats don't like to eat the heads. They leave those for me. Like, all right, I'll be munching on my cat heads. Yeah. Dogs is the same way. What is it? What do they put? Like lamb and rice is a flavor I've seen. You know, that's a weird one. Does he love? Well, I've seen how Hans eats better than most people. He's.
That's good.
Yeah, Hans is on a good diet. But yeah, well, see, that's the thing that blows my mind because I'm more of a quinoa. My dogs are more of quinoa eaters. They don't really like it when I pull out the rice cooker. They're like, hey, I thought we were doing that cold quinoa salad and rice. But in the lamb, I get it. We all agree, right? A dog probably could and would eat a lamb. That's a reality, but that's kind of like the dark moment in the first 5 minutes of a Disney movie, though. You don't really want to encourage that behavior. I feel like, it's the same reason pit bulls get a bad rap, right? Known as the baby shakers. And I'm like, hey, maybe babies are just delicious. Do we ever think about that? Like, children could taste good. We've all read Hansel and Gretel, right? That witch lived in a house made out of candy. The most stereotypically delicious thing in all of existence. And yet she still preferred to eat children? Come on. There's something going on there. On Epstein Island, I mean. They're eating children there too, right? I can't pay the price to eat a child. That's like golden truffle stuff, you know? Can't make that. I can't make that beef jerky budget. I gotta build a house out of candy and trick them into it, right? Or buy a pit bull. Pit bulls are all right, I guess. I don't want to be dog racist. That's another thing. Diversity is a huge issue they keep pushing on people. And like they always encourage disability as well. Like that's something that should be touted. But and the one thing that I get mad about is like, well, how come I never see any diversity in the handicap placards? It's always just the same white guy in a wheelchair. It's like I've seen other disabilities. Let's get somebody in a sling, missing a leg, right? Can I see somebody who's like, a thalidomide baby every once in a while on a handicap parking space? That'd be nice to see, right? Maybe like they always got like maybe just like the face with the X'd out eyes, to show like, oh man, or just circle, like the spiral eyes. Mental disabilities are disabilities too. Maybe the guy who wants to go in and steal shit and yell at the cashier for 15 minutes should be able to park up front too. Not the crazy one here. Let's get those placards diverse. That's all I'm saying, Those people in their wheelchairs have had their day in the sun as the golden child of the handicapped community. I run up to them when I see them parking there. I was like, where's your wheelchair, asshole? And they're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I got Crohn's disease. I was like, my bad, that's a toilet for you. Your placard is still accurate. I've been trying to bulk up, well, personally, I talked about the protein epidemic earlier. That's crazy because, that's one of the things you really got to do when you want to, maintain and get healthy weight is consume a lot of protein, but obviously I don't want to eat people, so I'm in kind of a weird situation. So I've been trying to obtain whale's milk. Because we've all seen how big a whale is. Am I crazy? Right? Like sure, cow's milk is great. I mean, there's probably ethical issues with people's milk when you're an adult, so I can't go for that one. But I'm like, hey, I want some whale weight. I want to be like buoyant. You know what I'm talking? But it turns out, a lot of people were coming back at me like that, like, don't you think PETA would, or maybe the Coast Guard? There's probably some sort of legal issues with that. You can't just go milk a whale. I'm like, yeah, okay, valid points all, but I'm not sure that people are going to be the main issue that I'm going to face when I try to obtain milk from a whale, right? First off, it has to be calved. Am I crazy? There has to be a baby whale there, so I have to fight off that. I'm the size of a cat to a tuna fish to a baby whale, so if we're, I don't think I'm necessarily winning that fight. I may be able to distract it with some keys, I guess. Then I have to find out where the nipple on a whale is. Anybody happen to know where that is off the top of their head?
No!
Right? Yeah, I don't think so either.
Somewhere underneath.
Yeah, exactly, right? I just look where the baby whale goes and then steal his data. No, and then like what happens if the mother whale enjoys it? Then I'm stuck in that relationship forever. Come on.
Watch out for the
Gotta cuddle up to 400-ton beast just to get the table, right? Can we, I don't know. Now I got some skeptics, bear with me. All right, think about it. You build a table, you're no longer picking sand out of your food, right? You're not fighting the ants for dinner. You get to stand upright, because you got objects in front of you, and you develop an erect spine. You start, developing higher level thinking. You're dealing with things at peripheral vision because you've got this table. You're no longer having conversations across smoke, and that fire thing that discovery we came up with earlier. So that, you got the table, you start doing things, you start developing culture around the idea that you can actually set things in front of you and have them ready and level and prepared. Level being a key thing here. Then of course you have what's the next greatest thing you have? Domestication of the animal. A lot of people say, I think that's just that's just downstream of the table, right? Somebody wanted to move a table. They were like, this table's too heavy. Let's see if we can teach that horse to do it. So they start domesticating animals. That's downstream of the table. Then they get the wheel guy, they're like, hey, you think you can slap that wheel on this table? We got vehicles now. Think about it, cars and trucks, that's just tables that can move. Right? And then along comes what? Like some nautical guy, he's like, hey, I bet you we can flip this table upside down, get it to float. Now we're doing maritime stuff. Just because somebody built a table at one point in time. We didn't need a wheel for that. You don't need wheels for boats, but you do for a table. You can put a table on a boat. That's two tables stacked together. Now we're doing like an Ouroboros of tables. We're floating across to another nation. We're bringing tables to them. We're developing their culture. What's the next thing that comes? Flight, right? Has anybody noticed one of the first few airplanes that the Wright brothers, the innovators of flight, built? It had like 9 wings on it. You think that's because they thought that would help them fly? No, they wanted to see as many tables as they could get in the air at once. That was their goal. They were like, let's fly a table. One table, let's fly a whole banquet hall. What are we doing here, guys? Let's fly. And now, where do we go from there? We've flown tables to other countries. We can drop tables on people and, leaflet bomb them with dinner. Do all kinds of stuff. Advance their culture. Look how far tables have come. They can fold, they can move. And then what's the next level that I honestly don't, I think they made it up. They came up with, like I talked about it earlier, the zero gravity of space. And this is where their madman devil worship comes up, because what is the idea of zero gravity? That any place you happen to place an object, it will just be there like it's on a table, right? Nothing ever. Everywhere's a table? We've gone through the looking glass here, guys. Like this is all like table, what do they call it, like Magnum table opus? And that's where I go back to flat earth. I'm like, I'm a globe denier. I think the whole thing is a table and it always has been. I think we're tables all the way down. We're a table on a table on a table. Maybe there's a turtle shaped like a table at the bottom, but that's where I got into flat earth. I was like, I think all things are just fractally tables all the way out. I wish I had a table of all the progression of tables just to make this an even more meta joke.
A table of tables.
Table of tables, yeah.
Turtles are tables.
Turtles are, well, they're biological tables, right? Like, so maybe, oh man, it's like the fire thing. We just stole tables from nature. I gotta rewrite that whole premise. Maybe this isn't a conspiracy theory. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but for some reason it bothers me that whenever I see a first aid kit, they spell it out. First, F-I-R-S-T. It's never one S-T. It's never like one aid kit, which I mean, maybe there's good reason for that. I argue against it. I was like, let's use the one. Brevity is key. This is an emergency. I don't need to be reading all these letters. Give me one number to count, and then I'll know what kind of aid kit I got. Yeah. And they're like, well, that kind of makes it sound like a prize, so we don't want kids intentionally hurting themselves, to get the first aid kit, yay! I was like, okay, that's a solid point. But also, what the hell is the point of the distinction of a first aid? What are the other aid kits? I've never even heard of like second tier aid kit. What would that even be? Beef jerky and a bottle of water? Like, you're not hurt, you're just hangry, shut up, go sit down and have a snack.
Walk it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Put some dirt on it.
Yep.
So, what would the third aid kit, right? We can't handle this here, it's like a flare gun, it's like, I don't know, we need assistance. This is too far from anywhere we can reach. I feel like a fourth aid kit is just a shovel. It's like, yeah, that guy, we can't help him no matter how much kit we have. We just start on the hole. And you can just like end in faster with it if it starts getting too bad. Fourth responders are just the guys that show up with the shovels, like, yeah, we're not here to dig them out of the rubble, if you catch my drift. Speaking of which, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I don't know if you guys heard about what's going on in Ireland right now with the riots. They're kind of burning everything down. Like, and it's really funny to me because like they're going against Muslim terrorists, which I was like, weren't the Irish the original suicide bombers? You know, with the IRA or their car bombs, like the notorious Irish car bomb drink that exists. And somebody schooled me on this. They were like, well, they don't necessarily intentionally blow themselves up. Sometimes they're drunk and they just can't find a way out of the car. Like, valid point. I am slightly Irish, I get that. And I was like, well, and then I learned out, turns out that's not historically the first time they ever did that. Did you know there used to be Irish horse bombs? That's where the lucky horseshoe came from. Yeah, you think an Irish car bomb's cool to watch go off. Where do you see a horse go off? Then a horseshoe comes flying at your head and it just dings the wall behind you. You're like, I lived through that. That's my lucky horseshoe. I'm gonna put that above my door so I remember. Not to piss off Irish people. They'll just blow stuff up, honestly. I don't even think, like, they used to call it an infernal machine, and they would call Irish people dynamite skunks. They would just be like, they're just gonna walk into a place and blow up. That's just like what they do. And I was like, man, we're losing that rep. And I think that's why the Irish are so mad, because the Muslims are taking it away from them. It's like, that was our thing, man. What are you doing? Which, speaking of, at least attempting to blow yourself up, and maybe this has been handled, but I've noticed I don't see a lot of people with wheelchairs on the beach. And I feel like, maybe, is this just like a mechanical issue? Because I've tried to ride my bicycle on the beach, and that's not a good time. So I was like, or maybe this is like an engineered thing, like just, you know, God just knew ahead of time, and creationism is like, we can't let people who are going to try to wheel themselves into the ocean be able to make it to the beach. You know, they need to keep going on. They need a better, I don't know. I'm just saying that's not something I've ever seen as a beach wheelchair, but apparently that's, I can't remember what else AI was going on. AI, everybody's been talking about that a lot lately. I know we got some varying opinions on AI. I don't know, I think AI is getting really weird for the dating market because you see like all the profiles, like I don't know if your picture is AI, I don't know if your profile is AI. I went on a hike up the mountain with you, you were hiking like you were in Skyrim, you know, just jumping and walking forwards, glitching halfway into a tree. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm dating AI. I don't know that I'm doing all right yet now. But there was the other thing, you know, you're supposed to consume eight glasses of water a day, I heard, right, to stay properly hydrated. People keep telling me how much water AI consumes, so I'm at bed at night, I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit behind. I'll just do like 4 or 5 AI searches right there. Just consume the rest of the water I need to stay properly hydrated. It's not all bad though, right? Like they're trying to build all those data centers everywhere, and everybody's talking about the energy consumption that they're in, like the heat output. I'm like, am I the only one that's seen The Matrix? I'm pretty sure that those are just the battery facilities. Like, you're going in there, buddy. Don't worry. Like, that's your utopia you've been wanting. Your communist utopia, that's that data center once they plug that thing in the back of your head. I guess I'm alone. No, I'm the only one that's seen Lawnmower Man. It's going to be awesome. I just think I'm wrapping up here. Yeah, this is probably the last thing here that I want to cover. And I don't know, are we horse people here? I don't know. Colorado's kind of a horse state. I know a lot of people. I have an issue because I like to go out and visit the parks. And I don't know how much of you guys have noticed, or like if you ever do that, notice how much horse people just think it's okay for their horse to just crap all over the trail and like just leave it there for the rest of the world to deal with. Which is actually like a, you know, at least, you know, where I'm from, that's actually a citable offense, the same as like if you leave your dog's crap, or like if you like go hunting and you just leave all the guts there, you know, it's like, it's the same way, you can't just like leave it on the trail. And so, but like horse people are snooty. I don't know if like that's kind of like a thing I've noticed, and I think I figured out why they sort of have like up on their high horse. The expression is because when you approach like as far as like dangerous animals go, I feel like riding around on a horse is the same like psychological effect as open carrying an assault rifle. Right, because you're just like, you know that this thing could just kill us both at any time, right? Like you're just up on that horse and you're like, what are you gonna do, walk up to me? Who knows what leg it'll kill you with, you know? It even has this crazy safety like override mechanism called spook mode. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but if you're coming at a weird angle on a horse, everybody dies. It's like an Irish horse bomb went off, you know? It's like we didn't even need explosives for that one. Somebody just made a loud noise when the horse wasn't looking, and so now we're all dead. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I see what the snooty guy on the horse. It's like I give him shit. I was like, where's your snow shovel and your garbage bag? You're not allowed to leave this horse crap here. And then like they'll come back at me, they'll be like, well, I scooted it to the side. I don't know what the big deal is. It's biodegradable. I'm like, you know what else is biodegradable? A dead horse. And then they kind of look real spooked, and then they wander off. And I haven't seen them back on the trail since I told them that, but that's gonna be what I wrap up on for the comedy for this first part of the show. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'm gonna end it off with that.
Sean, everybody, let's give him another big round of applause. So he's gonna bless us.